Hey guys, what's up? Reese here. I'm bringing you part 3 of my 3-part series on just some tips I have that I found useful when I'm looking at shoes so that I can avoid buying fakes. And the first one was on actually looking at the website itself, where you're looking at buying the shoes and trying to see if you can tell it's legitimate. The second was just talking about some ideas for where to look elsewhere online just to get some verification of the website if the website itself looked legit, and try to get some outside resources and see if people have actually bought from it, and what they had to say. And now this part is actually going to talk about how I, check my shoes to see, when I get them, if they're real, what I look for, how I know what to look for. And this is kind of similar to my last video, the part 2, and that I use the internet a lot as a great resource because especially like I've mentioned Jordans and Nike a lot, and that's because most of my experience with shoes that I bought from places where I'm like, is this real? Have been Jordans and Nikes. Um, but so one of the things I find the most useful is I go to YouTube, and this works really nicely for a lot of Nikes, but then almost every Jordan retro that is popular. You just type in, you know, Jordan Retro 4 fake, Jordan Retro 1 fake, and whatever pair it is, and you can find videos where people will say, okay, now this is what you will generally see on a pair of fakes. And so you can check, like I remember when I was buying my white cement 4s last February, I knew to look at a couple things on the tongue and how the back curves and just a couple small details. And you can use that once you get the pair if you're like, I don't know, and you can use that to check it. But what I also do is I like to check the pictures on websites, and it's pretty obvious. Like there's one website I was looking at today, and it was a website I talked about earlier in my other videos that was just clearly fake. It was selling fake colorways, shoes that had never even been released. But I was going through like the Jordan retros, and all the pictures for like their fake colorways that were clearly fake, that were never made, looked very similar. But then they'd have a picture for like the Grape 5s, which was a picture that looked really nice and didn't look anything like the others. Well, it looks like they took it from somewhere and they didn't, they borrowed it from some other website or someone else, and they didn't actually take the picture themselves. And so, just try to look at the picture, and if, again, you don't rely on that only because if they've taken the picture from somewhere else, but generally, a legitimate website will have their own style of how they take pictures, so you can tell, maybe it's the background or maybe it's a watermark or something, so you can look at it and say, okay, this, is something they took, so you can kind of try to verify it that way. But like I said, this also works when you actually get the shoe. And, I mean, sometimes it's very obvious. I had a friend who got a pair of Jordans that, it was similar to the Jordan Accolades, but it wasn't the Jordan Accolades, and it was color that was never released to those, and there were just a few differences. And the first thing you would notice right out of the box was there were glue marks everywhere. The upper felt like cardboard. The entire outsole, midsole, it was like hard like a rock. You could hardly bend the shoe at all. And so, just check for things like that. I mean, because one of the biggest things about fakes, because I have a lot of friends who aren't really into shoe collecting. They ask me, what's the big deal with fakes? It's a pair of shoes. You're going to wear them. They look the same, whatever. And, I mean, I guess, yeah, you say, well, if I'm a shoe collector, I've got to have the, real ones. It's going to hurt my integrity, whatever. But, I mean, their argument honestly does make a little sense until you point out that the build quality. And even if they look good for a few days, fake shoes, non-authentic shoes, fall apart because they're built cheaply, and they're a ton of them built just to sell and make them look similar, but they don't focus on build quality. And so, you'll have a ton of issues. They'll be uncomfortable. They'll fall apart. Like this pair that I'm mentioning that my friend got, it's like they started to disintegrate. Like, it's just like they were just falling apart. Like seams were coming undone, all sorts of stuff. And I mean, that, like I said, a lot of even, authentic releases are not perfect. Almost every pair of shoes I have has some sort of imperfection, and you're not going to escape that with shoes. And so don't be too concerned if you're like, oh, there's this missing, or whatever. it's just, you got to look at it as a whole. And if it's looking for fake shoes is all about piecing things together, because a fake pair that there won't just be one thing off, or a website there won't just be one thing off. There are a lot of things. You may have to look a little bit, but so the whole point of this whole series, and what I've kind of found, is be cautious, be wary, take your time. Don't just jump on something because it looks like a good deal, or, oh sweet, I found them. Because that is exactly where you get into trouble, and that's what they know. People who are really into shoes are going to say, oh, come on, these are fakes, right away. But that's not the market they're trying to target. They're targeting the people who are like, ooh, I heard about this cool Jordan coming out, I couldn't get them, I walked into my finish line Saturday afternoon and they were sold out. What the heck? I'll just go buy them online. And those are the people that they're targeting. And so if you just take a little bit of time to invest and look at everything, it will go a long way. And again, like I said, this isn't completely foolproof. I can't guarantee that every time you're going to get a legitimate pair of shoes, but I've used this method for probably 10 of my pairs at least, and everything has turned out great. And you start to find websites that you can trust and that you can go back to. And it's nice, to kind of build up a list, because there's no one website that's going to get every single pair you want, or if they do, it's not going to be at the price you want. And so if you can just get this collection of websites that you can feel comfortable with, and that you've researched and you put in the time, that means the next time there's a big release, you can just go straight to the website and say, hey, I trust these guys. They've got them in my size. Boom, cart, done. So, this is like I said, it's a process, but if you're into shoes, if you're watching this video, it's because you care about getting the right pair. So, good luck. Do what I do. I just post videos of stuff like this to help you guys. And, I post videos of my shoes because I think it's cool, and I want to share it with all you guys out there, because, collecting sneakers, there's a whole culture around it, and that's what's really cool. So comment if you have any tips of your own. Comment if you have your own strategy, completely different strategy. Let me know, go out, buy shoes, make videos, review shoes, get your stuff out there for other people to watch and enjoy. And have a great week, YouTube. Thanks for watching.